Welcome back to The Ground Up. Today we have a very special guest joining me. I'm really excited. She opened Reframe, Reclaim, and Rejoice Wellness in Kenora, a space where individuals, couples, families, and groups can come together to heal, be heard, and reconnect with themselves. She's a registered social worker and a certified expressive art therapist. Beyond her credentials, she brings lived experience and a genuine heart for making every person who crosses her path feel supported, respected, valued, and seen. So, Amanda, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah.
I want to start at the very beginning. What was the experience that made you realize, like, this is the work that you want to do?
So for myself growing up, it was in foster care. So just seeing the gaps within the systems of families trying to get their kids back and not really having the resources or the support to feel confident that they're worthy of having their kids back because they only were given so much with their growing up and they kind of normalized like this is what happens, you know?
Is your heart in this for the kids, or is it for like the parents that are
Probably
struggling?
Yeah, maybe both, because all of us are kids, just in adult bodies. So it's whether you're healing yourself so you can be a better parent or whether you're, wanting help for your kids. It's like art therapy is great because it's for any age. It's for anyone who's really wanting to dig deeper to know who they are and where their belief systems kind of stem from. Was it like something you learned online? Was it something on the news? Was it something that was like stereotypes you grew up with and that was just
Yeah.
like, oh, that's just the way it is?
I think so many families, you haven't dealt with the stuff from your childhood, and then you become a parent, and you're trying to like figure out that stuff. It's so difficult because like you want the best for your kid, but you don't even know how to like treat yourself. First
Right.
of all, I wanted to ask you about your name. What was it that made you choose that in particular?
I know it's like a long thing, reframe, reclaim, rejoice, but it's like a step. Like when you first come in, I can feel resistance with people. It's like, what are we like currently at? And then taking that time to really reframe how we look at life and like what's real, what's not real, what's ours to carry, what's been like passed down generationally. Once we get kind of past that, it's like, okay, so we've reclaimed some of our power. Now what? What do I have to still work on? Like, what are my triggers? What are things that I go out in the world and it's like I'm already expecting because I've been living in survival mode for so long.
Yeah.
And then once you kind of navigate through all that, it's like, okay, like it was painful, but like now I can like rejoice in it just because it's like maybe not the best topics or the things that you usually avoided. I look forward to healing those parts of me because I love all parts of me, like not just the good, but like the
Yeah.
bad too. It's a
It's a
process.
process. I actually love that because it is a bit of a strange name in the fact of like it's this
Like our
bunch of
sentence.
words,
Yeah.
but it's like you said, that sequence and the way that you're following, it's like step by step. And I,
It's not linear. It's like
yeah,
you
there's a
spiral up and then you come
process.
back down and
A big part of why I do what I do is mental health. That's my bent and everything. That even when you do heal, there's another layer to heal, and that's not going backwards. It's just going deeper.
deeper. Yes, I love
So
that.
I wanted to kind of ask about the art therapy part. Like when I see therapy and different things, a lot of it's like more talk therapy, more like
Mm-hmm.
mindset stuff, which I'm sure you do some of that. You bring it a lot to the body and how we
Mm-hmm.
can like make the body feel safe.
100%. I think like when we're in survival, it's really easy to like be stuck in our thoughts and that like inner critic, it instantly kind of wants to go to that fight or flight of like you're already like putting those layers of protection up, which is sometimes almost doing yourself a disservice because you're not showing up like ready to receive. You're already like putting walls up. So when
I
we
would
get back
agree.
into our bodies, ooh, like I'm feeling anxious. I like feel that in my stomach, but then
It's
like
very
instead of
uncomfortable.
like suppressing it and tightening it, we're relaxing into it and being like, okay, what do I need right now? Like affirmations of safety? Is it like a hot, nourishing drink to like bring me
That's
some
true.
comfort? Or maybe I need to go walk around the block and just like get my body moving so I like feel more grounded and just like really noticing it. And we've made mental health seem like, you have to be going through like something major every day. It's like you're talking to yourself, you're walking through life. It's like, how do I put my best foot forward without rejecting what my body's telling me?
Like, how do you help people see that?
Yeah, like speaking for myself, I think I was really like in my head for a long time because like you don't notice things. You're in survival mode. You're just like thinking of the list of to-dos you have to like get through and whether you make friendships along the way, it's just an added bonus, but when
Yeah.
you're not getting to know people as your real self, so it's kind of just bringing awareness to people of like what do you see for yourself. If you look to the future, who are you surrounded with? Like who are you as a person, as a mother or father? And once they kind of have that vision, it's like, okay, so what's stopping you currently being your best self? And then they like, oh, like when I hang out with these people, it like drags me back down to addictions or my grief and loss or things that I haven't really worked through and
Yeah.
maybe don't have the safe space to do it. Okay, like how do we set some boundaries? How do we like maybe not completely eliminate people, but this isn't serving me anymore. I want to do more for myself. And once they start having that self-worth, that self-esteem of like, I am worthy of like living life and not just moving through the motions. I am worthy of, a better job or a better career or better anything, right?
Right. How do you address that?
I think with everything, you can go so far to one side or so far to the other. And it's like finding that balance within of I'm not harming myself. Your physical health, like people go to the gym and then they start just like hardcore cutting everything. And then, it's not sustainable. Where are we meeting ourselves for our mental health where it's not like we have to label everything like, oh, that's my depression. Oh, that's anxiety. That's this. It's like just, instead of labeling and always trying to find like the solution and just being in it and like honoring all parts of it instead of being like, oh, this is what helps. I have to do this, this, and this. These are things I can bring in if I need them. But like right now in this moment, can I like give myself what I need without outside things?
Like that permission to just actually be broken. And then that's okay for right now because it's a journey. I think I struggled with that because I'm a very intellectual person. I'm always thinking, I'm always assessing because I want the best outcome. I can get a little bit, obsessed with the progress and not just like sitting in the moment. Where I went through a season where there was nothing I could do but sit in it. Like it was just the way the situation came about. It was so completely out of my control that I couldn't change anything, and it hurt. And I just had to sit in that and just let that be and be okay with that.
Yeah, I think we fear isolating ourselves, but sometimes you have to kind of go into hermit mode and really sit in it because if you're like talking to a friend or talking to family, you're hearing what they're telling you and you're just like taking on their projections instead of what do I actually want from my core? Like, what is God telling me to move forward in a good way? Like, what do I need to do without? Because everyone has advice, right?
Yes.
It's like, if you just did this, maybe you'd be slim. If you just did this, maybe you'd be happy. If you didn't watch this, maybe you wouldn't be depressed. But it's like, they're not all bad things. You don't have to eliminate everything that brings you joy. It's just like in moderation, in like with balance. Like,
and I think you're probably the only one that will truly know what will be triggering those things in you.
Yeah, like reminding people you're the expert of your own life. Like when they come to see me, I'm not going to be able to give you the answers. I'm just able to walk alongside you and navigate your curiosity of like, how far do you want to go into this?
I don't know if you found this, but I have found that sometimes people want you to be that expert in their life.
100%.
It's like, how do you like to do that for people? What's the way that you like to help people navigate knowing that for themselves? Because I think a lot of people don't know where to start.
Yeah, like really it's like having difficult conversations with people because people do come in and want like a specific solution, but it's not gonna work how it's worked for me because we're all so unique. Our paths are all so different. How I respond to things is gonna look different. So just constantly reminding people that there's not a power imbalance, like we're equals. Our paths cross so that we can both kind of like guide each other. Like, yes, I'm in the role of holding space, but that doesn't mean I'm like I have all the answers or I'm up here and you're down here. It's like we're both just like walking alongside each other kind of.
Have you found that to be difficult with people where even when you're expressing that they put you in that place?
Yeah, like because most institutionalized things, it is like we go to a doctor, we go and we just take their word for it without even doing like maybe our own research, but we just like the doctor's recommends it, so I should do it. As a counselor, as a therapist, it's I'm not here to diagnose. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor. It's more of you wouldn't ask your personal trainer like life advice on like certain things. It's like they're there to train you on your physical health, where I'm giving you advice on mental health and what you can do at home to like continue that journey with yourself, right?
What are some of the things that you would use for your body to bring your body into a sense of safety? So if someone was like, I want to deal with these things, but they're not even feeling safe enough to bring it up. I've found that people have a difficulty addressing things or even looking at it because as soon as they start to, it's like their body just shuts down with that.
Yeah, and that like varies person to person too, like depending if we're in person or over Zoom or
Right.
even over the phone, like that, those all kind of like factor in, because if I can't see you, it's like, ooh, I don't want to offer you something that's gonna like take you
Right.
somewhere super triggering, and then I'm not even really there, and you just feel more closed off, and like, why would I bring that up if like it's just made me feel worse? So I think that's the beautiful thing about expressive art therapy. We don't really have to go to like our darkest, lowest moments. We can really just like start really slow of like, what does it feel like to be seen? Like when you look at yourself, whether it's like in my office space, if we're looking into mirrors, and like, does that feel uncomfortable? And it's like, if it's instantly like they can't even make eye contact with themselves, it's like, okay, like that's where we're starting, and like just honoring that of like, okay, like in the past maybe it hasn't felt safe to be seen, so like exploring that. And if it's like not that, maybe body images, okay, where did that like come up from? Was that from like childhood, teens? Was that after maybe having children? Or so just really going like where they're at, and then whether it's drawing or grounding ourselves or just doing like some small stretches or body movement, or meditation, closing our eyes and like getting out of like seeing anything and back into our body, just slow movements and slow pace. And it does maybe feel silly to like take that like slow motions and stuff like that, and like to color or to scribble. But it's like when we were growing up, we were told to not color outside the lines, and to be neat, to be perfect, to not be messy. And okay, but like as an adult, like what does that feel like to go back, color outside the lines or be messy? Is that like bringing up perfectionism? Is that bringing up your mother's and your relationship? And just there's so many things to explore, because everyone's journey and upbringing has been so like unique to them. So it's like, really, and what have they healed from already? Like maybe none of those things are bothering them, and they've made peace with it.
I can see how that might be like a light bulb moment for them.
Yeah, I think for even just like noticing our breath, like the simplest things, starting in a good way, like let's set an intention, let's like come together, just noticing our breath and like doing a body scan, starting here, like what does that feel like, and working your way down right to your toes. And it's like, did I even feel my toes before that? It's like, oh my gosh, that's what they feel like. And then all of a sudden they're back into their bodies, and it's like, now our nervous system feels regulated, like it feels safe to explore. Because if we're like kind of like on edge and just like, this is what I'm supposed to say, and already trying to answer before the person's done even kind of like talking, that's not feeling safe, that's not feeling authentic. So when we really can get into our bodies, and people are taking that second to slow down and really like process before they respond, it's like, okay.
Is that a sign of being dysregulated and like
Anxious a bit? Yeah. And like, I'm noticing you're having troubles like really waiting for me to finish, and what is that bringing up for you? And they'll be like, oh, like I didn't even notice like I'm doing that, I'm so sorry. And it's like, no need to be sorry. Obviously something like right now is coming up for you, and kind of just seeing where their head's at, and then being like, where does that feel like inside of you? It's like, is your heart just racing, or like what's coming up? And it can be so many things. Like every time someone comes in, I'm expecting a certain scenario, and I'm like, oh, like you never know. Because that's the amazing thing. It's like we take mental health so like for granted, that like this is what depression looks like, or this is what anxiety looks like. And it's like, it's so no, because someone can be the most charismatic person, and like they're the one struggling the most.
This is one I've struggled with myself. The shaking, like, is there anything you can say about that?
Yeah, like that's their tick, kind of like some people bite their nails, some people are like shaking, and some people are just like numb, like full body numbness, where it's like then you have to bring in tapping, you have to, and it's
so for someone with the shaking, what would you suggest
to just slow down? Slow down, like whether that's like maybe doing some stretches, or like rocking, or like full body movements, and like allowing that energy to actually like flow fully out, instead of feeling like restricted. And just playing with it, like maybe we're bringing in scarves, and we're like playing and making something beautiful out of like the shaking. Like you don't have to like be like, this is bad, I don't want to be anxious, and then you're just like fighting the urge to actually like listening to it and being like, maybe it needs bigger movements. Like what does it feel like to make them circular? What does
that's an interesting thought. It's something I've experienced a lot in myself, and even now. And like recently I was talking with my husband, and I was pretty chill about, like, I had already processed the situation. I was pretty chill about it, and I was just telling him different things about my feeling, but my body starts shaking as I'm talking. And then it was stressing him out, because to him he's like, if you're shaking, you're like, something's terribly wrong. I'm like, no, it's actually, there's nothing terribly wrong. But I do find it interesting because I'm just looking at myself like, what does this mean? Like, why am I doing this? Like,
because your body's like remembering like what came up for you at that time, and it's yeah, oh, that's
that makes sense.
beautiful. Our bodies are so beautiful in that
It
sense,
is.
like they
And
remember
that's
everything, even if we've completely tried to like distract and like numb it out and like
I think that's the important thing I've even come to see too with that is like we can be so much in our head where we're like, okay, no, I've moved on past this, but like actually respecting our body, like, oh, maybe my body hasn't though. Like maybe my
mm-hmm.
body needs a little bit of time.
Yeah,
Because I don't know about everyone, but for myself, I can just rush past things. It's like, okay, I'm good now, and let's go. Like, and come on, body, you gotta like drag it along with me,
yeah.
but instead maybe honoring it.
Yeah, and
So,
there's so many factors of like whether it's the pressure of society of like
mm,
we have to be perfect wives or perfect mothers or perfect at our jobs and just showing up in this way, but it's like the more that we show up like as
mm,
ourselves and like honor that, like, you know, tonight I'm feeling tired, and like kind of just making it like so we are both human, and like that power imbalance becomes more like, oof, my kids didn't sleep last night, like I'm feeling tired, and just like,
mm-hmm.
you know, because if we're just masking it and acting perfect all the time, it's like that's not sustainable, and that's like what
No,
people have like, oh, everyone else has it together, why don't I? And it's like this comparison
yeah,
game, and it's like,
definitely.
no, it's unrealistic.
And I thought that's so interesting. Like
mm.
maybe it's just a coincidence, maybe not, but like the way it's interconnected with that, our bodies are like holding so much and telling us so much if we just like listen.
Just listen 100%. I don't know, my husband reminded me that it's not really normalized, like the things I'm talking about, the things that I like
Mm,
foresee for mental health, just because that's been my experience, and I've had to like maybe go through the foster care system or go through
mm,
like different things in my life where it's like that's passionate to me, so this is why mental health is so important to me. It's like it's not regularly like talked about, and it's like I shouldn't have that expectation that everyone wants to work on it, just like
yes,
people like
I have
physical health
found that.
benefits
I
or,
have found
you know,
that
your
too.
spiritual health. We all see the benefits in other people, but like if that's not their priority, it's I have to respect where people are at on their journey, and that's okay, because all the signs can be there, and like as helpers and healers we want to just like, you know,
Show
fix
them.
and help and yeah,
Yep.
show them, just encouraging and like like loving them where they're at. Maybe they're not willing to face that, maybe they're not ready to cut off, you know, the toxic person or
Yeah.
environment. Like that's okay, how can I support you even if you're not like choosing sobriety, even if you're not choosing this, and
I think that's the difficult. I feel like, yeah, that's
not
a,
shaming and like, you know,
yeah.
like, oh, your life would be so much better if you did this, is how do I know, like maybe their life is perfectly acceptable for them, and
And that's what they're
that's what,
choosing.
yeah.
Well, because I think it does come back down to that sense of safety. And if that's where they're feeling safe, they might not be ready to feel unsafe. And
And who am I to say like at what age this is when you're supposed to have this, or at this,
mm-hmm.
you know, like you should be healed from that, and you know, because it's gonna look so different for everyone. Where it's like there's people way younger than me, and I'm like, you're so wise, like you've made it
Yeah.
through so many things, wow. And then there's people way older than me. I'm like, oh my goodness, you know.
Yep.
So
Yep. I
and
hear you.
age is just a number, like
It is. You really do see where people kind of they're at their own different spots in their lives, and it doesn't have anything to do with age. It's
yeah,
just
that's another thing for expressive arts is like we're really just like getting rid of labels. We're really good because it's
mm,
like I could be judged off age or gender or like,
mm-hmm.
you know, so many things that we could judge someone, but it's like you can't say someone's more expert in something just because they're
Mm-hmm.
maybe older or this or that. So
Yeah, because you really have no idea.
yeah, so
And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, does it?
no,
Yeah. What are some
yeah.
like things that you've had to struggle through in your personal life that's like been hard to overcome, but you've seen real fruit in?
Mm.
Because you're a mental health therapist, and I'm sure that you've had your own experiences for yourself. Like, how did that work in your own life personally?
Hmm. Yeah, I think like the way the chips crumbled for me, it was I kind of thought I was just like redoing a cycle of like what had been like my family's kind of like cycle. So growing up with like addictions and a lot of loss and seeing
Mm,
like, you know, people struggling with their own mental health where it's something where you don't understand. It's it took me back to wanting to go back into schooling and kind of like, okay, like if I made it through this system, like how can I go in and help other kids? So that was really why I went back into social work. And then I would go into job and kind of see like people aren't really getting the help that they need because they don't have that confidence to begin with, ask for what they're actually like needing maybe. And it's like we're kind of settling for the bare minimum of, I'm having this problem, but it like then they just kind of offered a brochure of like, okay, go get this, and it's not really that like relational
Right.
thing. So it's when I went into art and expressive art therapy, that's when I really noticed a shift in my own mental health and like how I looked at like institutions, because it's when we go into counseling, it's talk therapy, it does help bring up some things, but it eliminates that part of just really grounding ourselves and seeing like our family's history, intergenerational things, like all the societal pressures that we've put on ourselves and put on other people. And so when I had to start dismantling the way I looked at the world, I'm like, wow, I've carried so many things that weren't mine, so many stories that I thought like, oh, this is who I'm going to be because of this is what my family came from, or,
Right.
you know. So then when I kind of like started working through that and seeing like where you come from doesn't really define where you
Right.
can go. So it's just really empowering for me, and I want to be able to offer that for others, because I think we do get stuck into normalizing things and kind of just settling for things, and we don't have to.
So you're kind of your bent is more towards generational, like breaking out of those cycles and the things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really good. I Is that something that you would say is your niche in the mental health? Because like you were saying before, you have a unique perspective that maybe not everyone does, which is why it's important to have a whole different array of people. So like what would
Mm-hmm.
you say clearly is like your special thing that you add to mental health?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I do think like because of my lived experience and seeing things from kind of both perspectives of, being indigenous but not really looking the part. Okay, so I don't
Yeah.
really fit in on reserve, but like growing up in foster care, not really having like, oh, well, that's not your real mom and dad. Like, okay, so I don't really belong here.
Right.
That like displacement of like always trying to seek like, where do I fit in
Where
life?
you
You're not really meant to fit in. Like, that's the
mm,
beautiful thing about life is every place you end up going could just be for like a chapter of your story.
that's very
Learning
true.
that law of detachment and understanding my attachment styles of like, ooh, I was kind of like an anxious attachment, like really wanting to be loved and like
Yeah.
kind of shape shifting and being a people pleaser to like fit into these things,
Mm.
because you just want that like validation, but it's like I can validate myself. Oh wow, like how empowering is that? And
What made you realize that for yourself?
I would really say the like art therapy
Yeah.
is just like, okay, when you haven't really made choices for yourself and it's kind of like you're always like, oh, what do they do? Okay, I'll do that too. And you never actually like listen to
Mm.
yourself. When you start being curious of like, no, what does Amanda want? Like,
Yeah.
what does
Like,
Amanda really
who are you?
need? Yeah. And it's like I did that by being like silly, by being playful, by bringing joy back into my life.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
it's like the simplest things, and people kind of like, oh, is it like an art class? Or it's like, no, it's really just, you don't have to be an artist. And I think the name of it maybe is what kind of throws people off, because it's like, well, I've never been creative. And it's like, well, what does that say? Because maybe you were never allowed to be creative.
And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like,
No. And what
even if
is,
you don't know how to draw, you know how to pick up a pen and like
yeah.
move.
Yeah, and it starts like bilaterally, just like maybe moving both hands and scribbling. What images maybe can we find? Like, what does that symbolize? And what
Mm.
color would you pick if you could? And what name would you just like naming things and titling them? And like, what does that mean for you? And it's like little simple things. And as that grows and grows, you can go deeper and deeper.
So I feel like, in a sense, what you have to offer is really unique because a lot of people don't want to necessarily just talk.
Mm.
So in a sense, they can go to space and they can just pick colors. They can color and they don't have to label things necessarily. They can just explore themselves without words and having to like think, because people I, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, if it's just me, but like I've noticed there tends to be people that are more like logical and they don't really want to like think about emotions. They don't understand it. They don't want to go in. And there's people that are emotional and all they think about is how they feel. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like the people that don't know how to express emotions can get really overwhelmed when you're trying to get them to talk about their emotions and how they feel. So that's
Mm.
like a really interesting way of, they don't have to put words to things necessarily. They can just learn to create their own intuition. Is that
Yeah,
kind of how
and
that
like
works?
I feel for myself, even like as I was going through this course and offering myself the things that I can now offer others, yeah, I don't want to talk about like hard things that happened to me. Like they were very traumatizing, but like
Yeah.
maybe it's through poetry I'm expressing myself. Maybe it's through like somatic movements. Maybe it's through like expressively dancing, or maybe it's through like singing or drumming,
Hmm.
or, you know, it's just like I don't have to tell the story. You can like hear it from like maybe the pain or the
Yeah,
sadness
no,
or
I love that. And I've seen that uh, in my work as well with reflexology, is sometimes people don't really have to talk, but just by like being there and getting their nervous system like reset, and they kind of would just like offload just a little bit. So they don't have to go deep into the story. Their whole body just like released things that they
mm,
didn't have to sit and process necessarily and figure out all the why. And they came back later and like they felt so much better, and they had like overcome certain blocks, and they
mm,
didn't have to do
yeah.
anything but just like, I think it was that taking a moment for themselves, doing something healthy and getting their nervous system regulated to be able to come back in their body, just released it. And I thought, well, that's
Mm,
so interesting, because I'm a talk person. I
mm.
gotta talk about everything. I process everything. I'm very verbal. So for me, that's how I do it. But I thought when I saw that, I was like, that's so unique. Some people don't have to
Mhm.
relive the story. And I think that can be really empowering for people to know, especially if that's what they're really scared about with
Mm.
therapy.
Yeah, that was like mine too. Like even over Zoom, I would be like having my camera off because it's like I don't want people to like see me, or, you
Mm.
know, I don't want to share any little bits of me that like may alter the way people see me. But those are the things that got you to where you are today. That's maybe not parts of you that you want to like remember, but it's like they built that like
It did.
resilience in you, and now you can help other people by sharing your story. And the more you look at it from like, you know, those can help me instead of like those made me messed up or
Yeah,
not
exactly.
lovable or not worthy. And it's like, no, we got to reframe how we look at
Reframe,
these
reframe,
things.
and
Yes.
create it. I think that's
Um,
like such an important part of all of the mental health stuff, is like we can't change the past, but we can reframe it. We can reframe how we see it. And that the perspective really is everything at the end of the day, because how you see it is going to determine how you feel about it.
well, knowing how much of your energy you're really like giving away, and it's like when I can reclaim that back, show up like fully me, like have all my energy back, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, you know, it's not dragging me down, it's not consuming my thoughts as much. And you see that little bit of progress, and it's not going to happen overnight, but it's little
Mm-hmm.
by little. We're not like putting pressure, expectations of in 1 month, like if I go every week I'll be healed. It's like, no. Something we have to maintain for ourselves for life, maybe not with always a therapist. You have those skills now, they're in your toolbox, you can use them whenever.
Mm-hmm.
And a therapist will always be there to like bring you back if you need it, but
Right.
you don't always have to like, oh, now this is a lifelong thing. Just like a gym membership, maybe you start off with the personal trainer for, you
Yeah.
know, the first bit, so till you get comfortable and
You kind of have someone to help you build a structure that you can then
it works
use.
for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you're trying to like do it just from what works from other people, it's like, well, that didn't work for me. So
Mm.
and it turns you off of it. And it's like, well, yeah, I've been turned off of a lot of things because I thought, oh, they did it, so I'll do it. And
Yeah.
it lasts a few weeks and then it's just sits in your closet or whatever you've
Yeah, exactly.
bought. So,
We've all been there. Okay, well that leads me to kind of my next thought with all of this. Something that I think is really important to address is like when you do start healing and when you do start to build the ability to regulate,
mm,
life changes. And
mm,
sometimes that part can be hard to live with.
100%. It's like grieving that your past self. It's like, ooh, that was comfortable when I just like had
Mm-hmm.
that routine, and it's like getting comfortable with being uncomfortable and like turning it into like it's kind of like exciting to do it. But yeah, it definitely, as you're healing, it's like, oh, I'm no longer hanging out with those friends anymore. Like, it's lonely. It's like, I'm no longer eating my favorite foods. It's like, I'm starving. But it's like, you're not. That's like your body, like,
Yeah, yeah.
telling you, like,
Mhm.
hey, this is what was familiar. This is what was normal. This is what we're used to. And so it's trying to tell you to go back to old habits,
Mm.
nurturing yourself during those times. Cause yeah, it's going to be hard.
Do you
But if
have any like suggestions for people? Because I think that's the part um, that is like you've done all that hard work and now you have all that awareness and you even have that stability. But like you said, your old habits are kind of screaming at you like, this was comfortable. Remember the good old days, even though it really wasn't. But like our
mm-hmm.
brains are kind of trick us in that. So, like, what are some practical things that can help to keep
Mm.
going forward instead of
I think that's
slipping
why I
back?
opened up those like support groups. I have my men's group, addictions, and that's for not just people who've maybe been addicted, but like who have family members or have lost family members due to addiction. And just having support systems and being like honest with ourselves, like, hey, I'm human. Like, I've thought
Mm,
about drinking a lot last night, or maybe I did have a drink last night, and starting over and being like
mm,
really okay with like honoring yourself and being able to be seen of like, I'm human and I messed up, and you know, what can
yeah,
I do moving forward, instead of like beating ourselves up, you failed. And
yeah. I mean, I feel like that could be such a big stumbling block in and of itself. Like before you start healing, you might have a lot of shame because you feel like you're a bad person for different things. But after you start healing, then it's like a whole different kind of a shame that you could feel when it's like, I should know better or I
you
do know
feel like maybe
better.
you let
And
other people down, and
yeah.
there's just so much other pressure. So it's like really just being in balance and like grounding, just knowing like we are human, we're gonna make mistakes, but like we get to decide, are we just gonna like trickle back down, or are we gonna like notice it, honor
Mm,
it, be aware of it, and like put our best foot forward. We're in control. It's like we get to dictate which
mm,
way it goes. Okay, I ended up binge eating a bunch of food. Do I continue just eating like garbage for the rest of the week, or do I
right.
like, okay, I
Start
did
fresh.
that, like, yeah, and tomorrow continue?
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's something I've been thinking a lot about lately is that process because I think especially when it comes to like I don't know about the chemicals in your brain too, like the dopamine you get, the sense of like control that you would feel. A lot of the things that you find in healing and regulating, it is powerful, but it doesn't feel powerful in the same way. You don't get the same kind of dopamine rush as you would perhaps working in your survival system. So how can you in your body it's almost like create a different like rechannel that, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And we're all looking for
Mm-hmm.
instant gratification because society's kind of made it that we like rely on, um, maybe what's the word here? Like comfortability.
Yeah. To give a quick example,
Mm-hmm,
because this was something I experienced last year, I used to binge eat at night all the time. And the reason I didn't know why, I would like I try to stop and I'd be like, well, what is going on? And I found out in myself is like at the end of the day, I have like a really busy life. I have 5 kids, different things like that. It was like my way of like shutting down and like,
mm-hmm,
it was like feeling comfort. I put on my show and it was like every time I show, I'd have my snacks and
mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And
Little reward.
yeah, and exactly. And I'm like, why do I keep doing this? And I'm a pattern person. So I'm like, there's an obvious pattern even when I try to stop. Eventually, I realized the reason why is that throughout the day, I wasn't really taking care of myself. I would
Mm-hmm,
skip meals because I'm busy. I would not really, I put my needs on the back burner. And so at the end of the day, my body took like the easiest way to shut down, the
mm-hmm,
way that's like, this is your way. And so the draw was so strong for me. And it wasn't just because I wanted the food, it was that my body was neglected all day. And so now it's going to get taken care of and it's going to do it in the way that is the quickest, easiest way to do it, or like that
mm.
cheap fix, that quick
Yeah.
fix kind of thing. And so then I experimented, and instead of ignoring those things, I started eating breakfast. I started prioritizing the body's needs.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the day, I would close the loop by like having a warm cup of tea, having a shower, and like having a little routine. And I did not at all want snacks. It was like my
Mm.
body didn't need that. So I that's a lot more work though.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But like, good for you for noticing the pattern and like, okay, what can I do throughout the day so that at night I'm not just like going for convenience instead of like what's nourishing and giving me the energy my body actually needs.
it's a lot more work to do all the healthy things, and sometimes we just want to be like, just go back to the easy thing. But it's a structure that starts way back at the beginning. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm faced with the decision now, am I going to drink or not? And then you drink and then you think, oh, why did I do that? Well, it's because it was actually starting way back at the beginning of, like, for me with the binge eating, the beginning of the day sets whether this is going to happen. So if I didn't do all those things in the day, I'm way more likely to be weak at night.
Yeah.
And I think that can be a challenge, but understanding that gives us at least like some structure to work with.
Yeah, and looking at like that hard work as more of your reward instead of like an inconvenience, because it's
Yeah.
like, look at me, I'm taking care of myself. Like tonight I'm going to prep like veggies and dip so that when I'm really
Yeah.
rushing tomorrow I have this, and like taking the time to set yourself up for success instead of
Yeah,
like,
that's the word I was thinking. Like, that setup for success. It does take a little bit of planning and thought.
but then it's like that's your new norm. Like once you get into that routine,
Mm.
it's like, wow, like I really like how I feel today, like I'm going to do that tomorrow. And as your body starts to kind of like normalize that, it's like, why would I want to go back to just like sitting and feeling sluggish and like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's giving you like something, but once you kind of get into that healthy, you start noticing like, what did that food even taste like? Or was I just like starving,
Well,
not
that,
even taking that
yeah.
time, like mindful eating, like chewing slower, actually, like what does
Mm.
that taste like? It's like, I think expressive arts goes through so many things where it's like we're really just noticing things and slowing down, like,
Mm.
oh, I'm a little bit late. Should I be cutting people off in traffic? Just a crazy person today? Or it's like taking the time, yeah, we're a little late and that's okay. It's okay
That's
to be
okay.
late. Getting out of over that like perfectionism of like, I'm a failure if I don't show up early. And
Yeah.
there's so many things our minds tell us where it's like, you know what? Is this like life or death?
Mm.
Making it bigger than it has to be and letting it ruin my whole day now. There's so many things to like explore with our minds and our mental
Oh,
health, and
it's fascinating. I
it
personally
is.
find it really fascinating.
Yeah, and like it does seem daunting, and I think mental health in the past, maybe people were fearful of it because they thought like something was wrong with you if you were going to see like a therapist
Right.
or to get help. I personally think everyone should maybe have a therapist so that you have
Mm.
that third, perspective of like, it's not a family member, it's not a friend, it's like an unbiased person, not
Yeah.
judging. They're hearing you, but they're also questioning like things maybe your family and friends wouldn't question because they know
Mm.
you, they know whoever's in that situation, and they love you. So they're maybe,
A
you
little
know,
biased, or
yeah, which is
yeah.
okay. Like you need that support too, but sometimes
No,
it's beneficial
I
to
hear
have
that.
that person who's like holding you accountable. And
Yeah. I appreciate being challenged way more. I mean, the you don't grow unless you're maybe looking at something from, if you're going to see the same things the same way all the time, you're going to have the same results. So like,
mhm,
sometimes you need a little bit of a fresh
to be
perspective,
willing to take the
even if you
step.
don't like it.
Yeah, and honoring that, being like, I don't really like you. I don't
Yeah.
really like that you're challenging me. And it's like, okay, I'm okay. Like, I don't need to be liked. Like,
Yeah.
it's more of what is it coming up for you? Like, why don't you like what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's,
I heard this thing once and I thought it was pretty fitting. It was like, the truth will set you free, but first it's going to piss you off. And I'm
mm,
like, that's true. You don't accept it right away. It does make you mad. But then you
yeah.
start questioning, like, why does this make me mad? And you start to be able to examine.
What part of
And
it did I have in it? And because we can just instantly, they did this to me. And it's a very like
mm-hmm.
victim mentality, but it's like we're all, like this person did this, that's why I did that. And we're making excuses for ourselves instead of being like, okay, I could have reacted differently. I could have,
Mm-hmm.
not let that person's projections really alter how I like.
Exactly.
Knowing yourself to the core, nothing really phases you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And it's difficult when it's something that's really hard and bad and when it wasn't your fault. But even taking responsibility for the lies that were formed through that experience,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like something might have happened that was not all deserved or your fault, but
Uh-huh.
how you chose to see yourself from that, like, oh, I'm unlovable or whatever. And you are the only one that can change that narrative.
And understanding like that says a lot more about that person than it does with
Exactly.
you.
It's
It's
not
like,
personal.
yeah, it's like something really is going wrong, like that they need help with, that they're not getting the support. And it's not, making them less accountable, but it's just really like dividing
it helps
yourself.
you to separate from the
Yeah.
I agree. Like I know with a lot of my personal healing it came from stop taking things so personal. I was like the queen of taking things personally. As a kid, I was always getting my feelings hurt. Someone called me a butthead and I was crying. Like that
Yeah.
was me as a kid. Everything was very personal because I was very emotional and I felt things. So if it felt negative, I would really feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And learning to separate myself from taking things personal was the thing that set me free from a lot of my self beliefs that were not good.
When you have more compassion for people, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, wow, like, they must have some insecurity or have something that they see in me that's like really wanting them to bring me down and hurt me, almost wanting to like I see you and like I see that
Mm.
you're like not choosing kindness right now. Like what can I do to like support you? And it's like maybe they've never been seen before. Maybe they've
Yeah.
just been like wanting attention, and whether it was good attention or bad attention, they're just like this is how they've been showing up. And
Yep. This is how they feel safe in their
yeah, and it's
survival.
maybe like they know they're miserable and it's not been working for them, but at that point like they don't know any different and they
Yeah.
don't feel worthy of any different. So
Yeah.
just showing love and compassion for really everyone, because at any time it could be someone, ourselves or someone we love, like going through the exact same thing. So
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. So if people want to reach out to you, what are
mm-hmm.
some of the things that you offer? You've talked about your art classes, your support classes. What does that look like?
So I'm available Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 3. So the best way is to kind of just like book individual sessions through the Jane app. And
Okay, so you
for the,
have a Jane booking.
yeah, and then the group sessions are just held weekly 1 till 1:30 to 3. And that's
Okay.
every week. And you book on the Jane app as well.
Okay.
I think everyone carries like different gifts. So just like taking the time to get to know ourselves to the point where it's like you can show up authentically yourself in anywhere you go, whether it's somewhere where you're comfortable going, or like how we talked about being
Mm-hmm.
comfortable getting into those uncomfortable places. So that's like my goal, is for people to like know that they're not alone, and a lot of the
Mm.
things we're thinking or feeling or beating ourselves about, it's like those are common things that other people are thinking, maybe we just not normalized to talk about. So the more that we
Mm.
share our truths and support each other through these things, it'll build a community, and
Mm.
it'll spread. Like one person heals and like their light shines onto the next people, and it just kind of trickles. But
Mm.
till one person decides to take that chance on themselves, it's like, you know
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
my people, my audience, I think, is people who just have felt like they don't have a support system, and like they don't even know where they want to start when it's like
Mm.
comes to getting to know themselves. It's like that inner critic is so loud, like, so for them to get out of their head and into their bodies, it's just like straight numbness, straight resistance. It's like
Mm.
that's where expressive arts like really is like that stepping stone to get you to those other places, because
Mm. So people that
like bridging that gap between like you know mental health and all the other realms of health, because it's like it kind of starts with getting into our
so you're
bodies.
kind of almost like body to mental health.
Yeah.
So people that are completely disconnected from their body and they know they have so many things but they don't even know where to start and they may not want to talk about it, you'd be a really good fit because you can kind of just open the door of like
Mm-hmm.
just starting to feel in your body and to explore
Yeah, like severe like
motherhood.
childhood like abuse or neglect, I feel like is where like my niche would be, because it's like I've embodied it, I've lived it, I know what it's like to like
Yeah.
feel completely closed off and feel so numb, where it's like I had to like start from like rock bottom and kind of like ground myself and work my way up to get like, oh, this is the patterns, these are the traits that I've like taken on, and then go from there. It's like I had to try so many different things, from breath work to
Mm.
chanting to yoga to all these other things, where
Yeah.
it's like body talk, and it's like you take little bits of what works and what didn't, and it's like we're always kind of like growing and changing, where it's like maybe I'll have to come back to some of those things
Mm.
as like my journey goes, but for right now,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's interesting. Like I would say with a lot of the people that resonate with me is people more that have had traumatic life experience more later in life, not the beginning. My childhood was pretty good, but then it was like, my mom passing away and my brother passing away, and then my aunt who took my mom's place passing away, and like the stuff that I've dealt with is a lot of trauma I've gone through in life. But you're saying is like you've dealt with a lot of, like you personally have that childhood, the way
Yeah.
back, the
I
stuff
would
that
say
like
like those
when you were
abandonment
supposed to be
wounds.
loved,
Yeah.
when you were supposed to be taken care of, you
Mm-hmm.
weren't taken care of, you weren't loved. And so the crucial development in those ages that you didn't get
Mm-hmm. That really alters like your identity and like
on a very deep level.
mm-hmm.
And so you have experience in that personally, and so that becomes
Yeah.
a
And then where
valuable
the mental
tool.
health and addictions and grief and loss, like kind of like, those are all things that,
Play into that for sure.
yeah.
Hmm. Well, that's good.
Not saying that like things that happen in your adult life like we couldn't work on, but it's like
No, but
really bringing it
there's a
back to like when was
difference.
the first time I felt shame? When was the first time like I started looking at myself in the mirror and like not liking things? Like when was the first time? And it's like, was that my mother's voice? Was that friends? Was that,
Yeah.
and really getting to that where it's like, when did I feel neglected, or when, like, what's shaped that for me? And
Yeah. Of course, as everyone, a lot of my issues did stem way back in my childhood.
mm-hmm.
But I was talking about this with someone recently. We were saying that just we've noticed in different individuals, like the people that have had that severe neglect, that severe like people that when they're supposed to be loved, actually being abused instead of loved, like
Yeah.
getting the opposite, those type of things. There's like a deeper level or deeper layer of like it requires probably what you're the body more of the body
Yeah.
than the head,
To
like
fully process that and
yeah,
like release it, because it's like
because it
you
was in the
felt
body before
scared
you were
to
even able to
yeah,
know what to think.
but you were scared, so then you were kind of told to be silent and like not cry or to not those things, then your body just like tightened in those moments and just blockage after blockage after blockage
Yeah.
till the point where it's like, now I feel nothing. And then maybe you were feeling all those things, then you started reaching for things that like caused you to feel nothing, whether it was food or drinking or substances. And it's like, so now there's that layer of it,
Yeah.
and all the shame and blame and guilt that we feel with those. So it's like, how do we get to the very beginning and go from there of like, ooh, maybe I was reaching for those things because like I hadn't healed from all these other things. It's not really the addiction I actually need. It's like forgiveness and healing from those memories. And
It seems to me that it might even be more of a body healing than like a mind healing, even though it's all connected, but like the body is holding so much
it really is.
that you could see they want help and they're doing all the right things, and yet they just can't seem to break out of patterns and cycles and or addictions or different things. And you're a little bit at a loss, but I wonder if it's because the body is like so holding on those things, so even if they really want the help, it's like until they've addressed the body they can't seem to get forward. Or I don't know, maybe you can speak more to
Yeah,
that.
it's like flight, or freeze. And it's like a lot of us just get stuck in freeze and we don't actually, like, that's just been our normal of like not feeling and not really like identifying with our body or taking care of it, even though we know like we'd feel better. It's like never been a priority, maybe to others or to ourselves. So we're just like, this is what we do.
That's interesting. It's not a priority to others, so it's like that's how you taught. It's like you're neglecting
Yeah.
yourself. You're continuing that neglect cycle from like a
From a little
baby.
baby of you just give everyone else instead of filling your own cup, and really just like taking the time of like, I'm not really giving my best self to others, even though I'm trying to give,
Yeah.
and it keeps failing. But it's like, what have I given myself? Like, what would it be like if I actually was able to show up with a full cup? Like, I wouldn't feel drained. I wouldn't feel like I have to go home and just like sleep, or like
Yeah.
I'm just exhausted. It's like, yeah, because you were running on empty. Like, you weren't doing anything to fill your cup, and you were like letting people step all over your boundaries and come into your space, even though that's not things you wanted, but you wanted them to like you. So you said, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So being comfortable saying no and like honoring, like, no, that's a full body no for me.
Yeah, no, I hear that because I've seen that a lot where people will blame or not blame, but like act like, well, that person should have known better, or that's their choices, and that's like, they said yes to those things, but they're not really understanding like the deeper layers of like why a
Mm-hmm.
person's putting themselves in a position for harmful things and things that you like look and think, well, you said you wanted this and now you're going around acting like you're traumatized from it. It seems like it's two different things, but it's not. It's like they, right? Like
100%. Yeah, it's like, well, they put themselves in that situation. It's like, what other option were they offered at that time? Like maybe
mm-hmm,
that was the only person who was showing them some kind of attention, whether it was
mm-hmm,
like what we think they deserve. It's like, did they have somewhere else to go that was like uplifting them, or had everyone else kind of like cut them off and neglected them, or
mm-hmm,
made them feel less than? So they're like, oh, my problems don't matter, I don't matter. And it's like,
mm-hmm.
no, you do, but like you're asking the wrong people.
Yeah. And when that narrative's been so reinforced in someone's mind, even when they do have other options, they might still make those choices because that's what they've been like. It's like they're trained to do,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not even aware of why they're doing that.
Yeah. And you go
Because it
like,
feels safer, I think, sometimes than
yeah,
getting the thing that is foreign, like true love.
true love is scary. Yeah. You have to show up vulnerable. You have to show up authentic to yourself. So if you don't even know who you are, it's like
Yeah. Where do you?
someone's triggering something, someone's mirroring the things you don't want to see in yourself. It's like
Mm,
you're going to push them away. You're going to self sabotage. You're going to, because like chaos feels normal, being rejected
yes.
feels normal. So if they're not
Yes.
doing it naturally, you're going to just start doing things to do it because it's going to happen anyways in your mind. You're
Yeah.
you're like, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. What do I have to do to like get it to happen quicker? So it's you're already pushing it away
Oh yeah, I've
already.
seen.
Yeah.
I've definitely loved people where it was like they started to reframe everything I did as a rejection, and it didn't matter what I did. So I was like, okay, there's not much I can do at that point. Like
Mm-hmm.
even my love is because it can be everything's twisted, but like it makes sense though because again, if you're going back to that little child when love was supposed to be a certain way and it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So everything to them is twisted in their mind. Everything has to come with an ulterior motive because
Mm-hmm.
that probably was what it was for them.
Yeah. It's like, oh, they're being nice to me. Like, now what do they want from me? And it's like, if I'm already running on empty, they don't even want to
Yeah.
accept the help because they're like, now they're going to have this over my head that like I owe them
Yeah,
something. And
exactly.
that might not be their intention at all, but they
Exactly.
haven't healed from past experiences. And it's hard
It
because we
is.
want to love people. We see their full potential just like others see it in us. But until they decide they really can't keep going anymore at that mindset and choose
Mm.
different, we just have to either love them from afar, or
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like,
doesn't mean we have to
kind
hold on
of,
them in our close circle, but it's like, I still
exactly.
love you, but
Yeah,
it's doing more harm than good having you in my close circle.
yes, yeah, okay, yeah. That's what I was gonna say. To kind of wrap it up, was like, how would you say to people that have people like that? Because obviously, when someone has a lot of damage and from childhood and different things, like they're still worthy of being loved, and they're still like, and
Mm-hmm.
we want to love them, but like you're saying, a lot of times it can be really hard to love them. So, what would you say to a person in that situation?
Yeah, it's like love them to the point where it's like your boundaries aren't being crossed. But as soon as they've crossed those boundaries, it's like that's when like that's as far as we can go. It's like, and just telling them, like, this is who I am now. Like, I don't want that around me. I don't want that kind of behavior around me. And if you don't respect that, like, I still love you. I'm still going to support you, but it's
Mm.
just not going to look like you won't have the same access to me. And those are really hard things
It
to
is
do
really hard
because it's,
because then you feel like you're perpetuating the story of like abandonment for them,
yeah,
even though you're not, but that that's how they're gonna feel.
yeah. But
So
sometimes like one person really just like breaking it down for them, it's like, wow, I didn't even know like I was being so harmful or hurtful to you. Like, and maybe it'll switch. Like, we're trying to be nice and we're trying to,
yeah, yeah.
but it's sometimes the hard truths where it's like it might not hit them now, but 10 years from now, 5 years from now, like
Mm.
a month from now, we don't know when it will, but the words will land when it's meant to, and it'll be
When
like,
it's
wow,
meant
that was
to.
a true friend. And they'll look back and be like, wow, like they really did have my best interests, and it's too bad that I wasn't able to like receive them. And
Mm. Did
you
you
know
ever have any experience like that in your life where you look back and you realize people were, but you couldn't receive it at the time?
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like pretty much any foster family where I was just like, they must not really love me, or
Mm.
and you're grieving your relationship with your biological family, even though it's like,
Yeah.
they're maybe not the best suited for you at that time. And you're longing for that love. So any love that you're receiving from people, it's like, well, you're
It's
not
not
my
what it's
mom, you're
not the
not
one
my
it's not the
dad,
love you
you're,
want.
yeah, and it's like you're
Mm.
always looking for the wrongs in their love instead of being like grateful for what they're offering you. It's a difficult one.
That's fair.
Yeah, especially when it comes from like immediate family, because you want that and you're not receiving that. So anything you get, it's like never going to live up to it. And so
Yeah.
then that person's taking it as like, I'm not giving enough, or I don't know what they want. And it's like, just keep showing up and eventually they'll be like thankful for it. But
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, thank you so much for
yeah,
coming
thank
on
you
this
for
show
having
and
me.
talking. And I will put all your stuff, send me your information, your Jane link and all that, and we'll put that in the bio and people can
Ooh,
check it out.
perfect. Well, thank
So
you.